What's goody? It's your girl Royalty back in the building. Today is the day. I am super excited because I am now a personal trainer. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. And you guys are here for one reason and one reason only. Well, before we get to it, subscribe to my channel if you not have subscribed yet. It's nothing but blessings and lessons and fun and all of that. All in this channel. Subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Now let's get back to it. You're here because you've seen the title. And you're struggling and you're scared and you're nervous. And you were where I was. You are where you get what I'm trying to say. You're in a position that I was once in, me Googling everything I could possibly Google about the Nasm test, about the Nasm class, about all that online combobulation. You want to know the one question: is it hard? And how do I pass it? I am the girl for you. Now everybody else give you these long drawn out blase blase blase. I'm gonna get straight to, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to know, because let me tell you, reading this whole book and then taking the test, it was beyond me. Like, you telling me I read this whole book and a whole lot of the stuff was not in it? Yes, that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know, what you don't need to know, the tips that I did to pass this test on the first try. Because I don't know about you, I'm not spending another 100 or however much it was to take the test again. It's Corona. We're trying to save our money. We're not trying to spend it. So let's get straight into it. No cut cards. Let me tell you, was it hard? Was it easy? And how to pass the Nasm test on your first try. Let's get into it. So the question that a lot of people want to know, the answer that a lot of people want to know is the schooling hard and was the certification test hard? The schooling hard, I did the guided study, and to me, I don't know, I expected it to be different. I'm a person that, you know, I learn with activities, and I'm more of a hands-on person than just reading a book, you know, playing a couple I don't know, fill in the blank activities and quizzes. I learn differently. So the schooling was a little boring to me, and it was hard for me to, you know, stay engaged in the schooling. But you know, if you want something, you'll do what you gotta do to get it. So the school, I feel like it just has to do with how you learn when it comes to that. Now, was the certification test hard? Have y'all ever been in school, right? And you in the middle of taking the test. This was me during the certification test. You're in the middle of taking your test, and you just start planning and thinking about how you're gonna tell your mom you failed. It was the SOL. You just know, you planning how you're going to tell your mom you failed. You planning on how you're going to retake the test. You just planning your emotions. I was preparing myself about 45 questions in how it's going to happen. Now, how a lot of this stuff is set up and how the questions are set up, I feel like it's very, not confusing, but it's when they be trying to get you. Like, read your questions through. I don't think it was hard on the level easy to hard. It was more on the harder side for me. It's not, I wouldn't say it was easy for Nasm. Mind you, you're signing up for what they say is the hardest schooling, which is kind of a good thing because you're getting a lot of things that the other schooling doesn't teach you, and that's why I chose this one. I wanted to be a little bit ahead of the game. So I would say the test is, it's not easy. It's not a walk in the ballpark. You gonna run a little bit, you know. It's not the easiest test, but it's definitely passable. And the reason I say that is because once I give you these tips and what you actually need to know and what you really only need to know, I did not know a lot of the questions. Mind you, I believe it's 20 to 30 questions on the test does not count. They're like those I don't know, studied questions, the research questions. Like, let's put them in there, but they're not going to count, so we can use them maybe for the next test or whatever. So I kept on the test. I hope this is one of the 30. I hope this is one of the 30. But it's definitely attainable to pass. But it's not one of the things you can't study for. You can wing it. You need to study for this test. So for me, I would say it wasn't an easy test, but it wasn't a hard test. It's in the middle. It's in the middle. Okay. So what a lot of you have come here for is to find out what you need to know to take this test to pass it. Now I'm going to tell you the main thing, and I'm not going to stay on it long because it's the main thing you need to know to pass this test. And that is the squat assessment. All of that page is on page 144. You need to know your overreactive and underreactive muscles of the squat. When the knees turn in, the feet turn out, excessive lean forward, arch back. You need to know all of that to pass this test. If you don't know that, and that doesn't run through your mind like blood, you're not gonna pass the test. And I'm being as real as it gets. That's a lot on the test. And here's a key: come up with a saying. It worked for me for a minute, but I know people that came up with sayings that personally, it worked for, maybe a part, but I couldn't remember it all. But I know a lot of people come up with sayings. Me personally, I put that thing as my screensaver. Put it as your screensaver. You're going to see it every day. I looked at it every day, and it just became me. I just knew it. Study that thing like never before, and it will help you pass that test. I'm telling you. Study the squat assessment, underreactive and overreactive muscles. You're welcome. Another assessment you want to study is the pushing and pulling assessment when it comes to overactive and underactive. Underactive, you need to strengthen. Overactive, you need to stretch. I would definitely study those for the pushing and the pulling. And when it comes to like the SHART test, the YMCA, you need to know all the other assessments. You need to know what they're for. Okay, so for the for the pushing and the pulling and the squat, you need to know the overreactive and the underreactive muscles, so you know what needs to be stretched and what needs to be strengthened. But for all the other assessments, YMCA, Rockport, I think I'll be saying them right, Davies, the other assessments, you definitely need to know what they're used for. If they're used for upper agility or lower agility, you need to know all that. So for pushing, pulling, squat, study the overreactive and the underreactive muscles. For all the other assessments, study what they are for. Okay? It's gonna save you a lot of time. Trust me. On to the next tip. You want to know your sets and your reps for each stage. For stabilization, strength endurance, hypertrophy, maximum strength, and power. You want to know your sets and your reps. Page 360 in the 6th edition, just study that whole guide right there. Study the whole thing. You definitely want to know that. It's a lot of questions. The activities in the actual module help with that. It makes you pull over to what needs 3 sets, and what it makes you pull all over. So I would take those over and over again. It's going to definitely help. That's definitely in the test that you're going to need to know. Study that. Next tip. Now, I struggled with this on the midterm. I did pass the midterm, but the midterm, this right here, the stages of change, I did not study. The back of the book, you think you don't need to know because it's just like the extra things. But you need to know the stages of change: pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance. I believe that's the stages of change. Listen, I'm done with the test. Memory, I just passed it. Let me get a break. But definitely, it's so many questions on that one. Study that. A lot of people miss out on that one because it's at the back of the book and you think you learned all the main information and you forget the small information, but it's the things you don't think you need to know that you need to know for this test. So definitely study the stages of change. All right. Now, as you see, I got my book in my hand because I want to give y'all the facts, all right? Page 167 on chapter 7. Study it like never before. It's another thing just as big as the SQUAD assessment. In my words, it's reciprocal inhibition, alter reciprocal inhibition, synergist dominance, muscle imbalance, muscle spindles, Golgi tendon or organs. Mind me if I'm not saying some of this right. Pattern overload. You need to know the definitions of those words. They're going to ask you so many questions having to do with that. Study, 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 study. Let me see another one. Heart atriums. This was the moment when I was like, I knew when they asked, I did not study that. I did not study that. Mind you, I work on the cardiac floor of the hospital. Okay? And I just could not remember some of that stuff. Like, they asked you some questions on the heart. Make sure you study the heart. Now, I think if you don't study, it's not going to be like you'll pass and fail, but definitely study the heart. Now, for me, those are the main things that you should study. Like, those are what you should put first. So we got the SQUAD assessment for the pulling and the pushing. All the other assessments, learn what they do. For the pushing, pulling, and squat, learn your overreactive and underreactive. The sets and the reps for each stage. Stages of change. Ooh, know your kinds of support. In the back of the book, it's another back of the book thing that we throw to the side. Know all the kinds of support. They'll throw those at you. Page 167, just learn all that. Learn all that. Heart. They'll tell you they'll ask you a couple things on nutrition. So study nutrition, but mind you, they don't do too much on the nutrition because they want you to take the nutrition class at the end of the day. So definitely do that. Quick tip, take them quizzes over and over and over. Each quiz is different. That's what I did love about Nasm. When they did those quizzes, each quiz was different. Like, it's the same question worded different, so when you take the test, you're not tricked off by the wording of a question. Take quizzes. I took quizzes about 20 times until I got an A, 100 on those tests. Take those quizzes over and over again. Don't stress it. I know it's hard not to. It was hard for me. Once you pass that the final exam of the course, not the actual cert, if you pass that final exam, you'll be fine. Now, if you don't pass that final exam, study, study, and study. If you study, you'll pass. That's the thing. This thing, they want you to come back and take more of their classes, more of their programs, so they don't make this thing till it's unpassable. It's attainable for sure. You just have to study. My main thing was this: if you study, you'll be fine. If you don't study, it's not one of them things you can wing it. Another tip I would say to use is note cards. I know they give you a bunch of it's cool, they give you the little, the little flashcards on the computer, but for me, is writing it out. It hits my brain different. It hits my brain different. Write your note cards out and test yourself. I did use the ones they put in the program. They were great. I love that. Like, study those suckers like never before. It definitely does help. And skip down to, I think it's the final one where it gives you the study guides and the percentage of each test. Study those study guides. It pretty much compresses everything and puts it in a couple pages. So study those and you got it. You'll definitely, the note cards and the study guides definitely help. I don't believe that you need to read this whole entire book like my tail did to pass that test. You just need to know the mains and you'll have it. So those are my tips that I wish somebody told me before I took this. If you put your mind to it, you can definitely get it done. I worried so much because I'm not the school person. I was never I chose not to go to college. I don't like to I don't see how people are in school for 4 years, constantly. I need a couple breaks in between. This is something, if you're trying to be a personal trainer and you really want to change lives and you really want to help people, or you just want to know the education, you can definitely do this. This is 3 months? 3 months of dedication, and trust me, you can get it done. I trust you. You trust you. Believe in yourself. You don't need nobody else but the man above pushing you on. That's your cheerleader. You guys got this. I really pray and hope that I helped you, and I hope that you pass this. I have so many goals that I'm about to accomplish because I got this certification. They say you don't need it, but me personally, I'm not trying to go to jail because I told somebody to do something and they did it and they broke a bone and they sued me. So I got this to say that, you know, I know my information. So I personally would get a lot of people say you don't need it, but if you want to work in the gym like I do right now to get more experience, I personally got it. I hope all this helped you. I hope you passed it. I hope you pass it. And I hope you accomplish all your goals. It's your girl, Royalty. If you have not subscribed yet, subscribe to your channel. This was really for my people that are trying to become personal trainers. I know a lot of people who are subscribed to my channel. Like, I'm not trying to be no personal trainer. Listen, thanks for watching this far. But maybe this will help you. You might decide you want to be one. You guys have a great day. Have a blessed day. Mind you, I'm still not on social media, as I said in other videos. We're going 365 in no social media because peace comes first and relationship with God comes first in my life. So we're working on it. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Stay masked up because Corona is still real. Royalty signing out. Gang.